All right. I think we are good. Can you see? That's okay?
Life is
Looks
beautiful.
good. First of all, thank you so much for taking out the time to meet with me, my old friend. First time I came to Los Angeles was 14 years ago.
Sure.
And when I came 14 years ago, one of the first events that I came to that I actually enjoyed being a part of was French Tuesdays.
No way.
Where did this brand come from? And who thought of this idea in Los Angeles?
Before Los Angeles, it was an idea that came from New York, as I used to live in New York. I was in the fashion industry. And to make it short, there was the Iraq war that happened, and everyone was boycotting French people.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you remember,
No,
it was a huge boycott in the US because French didn't want to go to war and American went to war when Bush was,
correct.
was involved as a president. So everyone was spitting on us when they even heard French speakers.
Correct.
So they were pouring wines on the streets. It was like French wine, just to boycott them. So as I was in the fashion industry and everyone boycott us, we started to create, a little gathering of just French and say, well, if people don't like us, well, we'll be together.
Right.
And then from a little gathering, it's become bigger. And we became the biggest event of New York City at that time because people started to lose the impact of the war. Italian, European, even Americans start to come to events. Yeah, we don't want the war either. And at the end, nobody liked the war idea.
Correct.
So we became like a huge event. Then we opened Miami and then we opened LA. It was in 2006.
And this is how you came to LA?
And that's why I opened Miami. I went back to New York. I opened LA and I stayed in LA because I saw the potential of this city.
What was it about LA? I mean, obviously, we've got this beautiful landscape in your place. This is probably one of the most unique places I've been to in terms of a home and how it's laid out. I had a wonderful Shabbat dinner once that you created for me. My most fond memory was the banana that's being fried and all the fire coming up. For
Banane
me,
flambée.
it was for me very memorable. You made my day, and it made it very special to be here for the first time. But tell me what made you fall in love with LA so much. What did you see?
I saw the potential, not because, yes, the quality of life, very important, but there was at that time, we're talking 18 years ago, there was not so many Europeans, there was not so many international people. And it was just, I felt like it was the beginning. So when we decided to open here, um, we saw how much like people responded on the first event. All the Europeans started to come together and say, oh, there is nothing like this in LA. And the first event, we had 400 people and it stays like this for years. And that's why we decided to stay. But there was very little culture. So bringing of French European culture in LA was a huge need and it worked.
Jill, this is your way of life, or this is a hobby for you?
It's a hobby way of life.
It's a hobby way of life, but it's also business.
It became business. But when I opened French Tuesday here, it was business.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we expanded French Tuesdays, was only a platform of consumers.
Correct.
In a business way.
Consumer products.
Consumer. It's like attracting people to see product, but for the people who were coming, it was just a party.
Correct.
So that's why for most people, when they attend the event, I never want anyone to feel like it's a business. That's why I call that a hobby.
Correct.
That is a business.
You never felt any event that you've put together, and you put together many different types of events. We'll talk about a few of them today. One of them is coming up next Tuesday, which I'm looking forward to, which is the 4-year anniversary of probably the best jazz event in LA at a place called Barless. We'll talk about that in a minute. But talk to me about the different formats and the evolution of what French Tuesdays or other events that you put together here in LA. Just share a little bit of that history.
The story is it started so as French Tuesdays as a group of friends getting together, and then it's evolved into a marketing agency, which we were helping um, big companies, the top 500 company in the world, from the Nestle Group, from Air France, from Yves Saint Laurent Perfume. So all those companies started to reach out to us because we were able to bring the best. When we say best clientele, no, but the best consumer clientele. People with high disposable income, 28, 45-year old. They are the people who still want to go out and still want to have fun. And they have the power of spending, but they are not party goer.
Correct.
So because of that, big brands started. When you start to gather 500, 800 people in one night together like this, it's very unique because it's very easy to have parties with 500 people, but having the right demographic of 500, 800 people, that's rare. And you can rarely reach them because they don't look too much online. At that time, they were not reading magazine anymore. So there was no other way than our way to reach those companies. And that's how we became a big um, agency uh, marketing. We called it experiential marketing agency that became all around the world because we opened 17 cities around the world after that.
Wow. One of the things I noticed, even till today, very diverse crowd. Even you telling me while we had a little bit of a working relationship together that it's critical for you that not one type of audience is consuming what it is that you're catering to. Talk to me where that came from. You're French. A lot of your friends are French. People who are not French want to be French around you. Explain to me why not French? Why not European only?
Very simple. We learn that as it goes. First, it's my type of lifestyle. I love people. I don't like, I don't love one category of people. But that's as Gilles. But as business, it's because as soon as we've learned, as soon as you have too many people of one type of community, the others don't want to come. So we almost lost our business in New York after the first year because there were too many people in investment banking. Then we opened San Francisco as the second. No, we opened Miami, the second cities. And when we moved that there, so many French came, and we almost lost our business because too many French. Then we opened LA, and then what is the biggest community here? The Persian.
Correct.
And then we almost lost our business because of Persian. San Francisco, so too many Russians were coming to event. Almost. So we've learned
To diversify.
that to diversify our communities. And it's exactly why we became so popular after those 4 cities. When we started to open other countries, we were so careful not to have too many of any community, but especially have the locals. And that's why brands were reaching out to us, because if you have one community, if the community is gone, the whole business is gone.
One of the things, now that you're talking about community, one of the things that I noticed you do very well is not market, but actually cultivate a community around you as a brand and you as a energy of people and high quality of service. You and I connected a little bit closer, even though we knew each other in passing, a little bit closer during the pandemic. Tell me what that time was like for you and what were you doing during the pandemic? How did it impact you?
First, I think I never received so many calls during the pandemic because I was already doing my business for 15 years. And everyone knew me as social butterfly.
Correct.
So, like, people like, how are you surviving with not seeing people, not having any events? Like, it was a kind of um, interesting that people were reaching me out for that. However, that's how you learn about yourself.
Correct.
The same way you learn about yourself when you travel the world, you also learn about yourself when you're on your own. And what I've discovered, it's was I loved being by myself. It was a very interesting. I spent so much time learning things. I was never bored a minute. And as much as I love people, I loved spending time learning, taking care of my plants, cooking. I learned so much on cooking. I was cooking every day and talking with people once in a while on the phone. And these days with Zoom and things, Zoom exploded
Correct.
at that time. So I was able to do so many things from it. So I've learned one more thing in my life. I love people. I could spend 24/7 with people, but I could spend 24/7 by myself.
What's interesting is that during the pandemic, innovation is something that I noticed about you for the very first time, whether you knew it or not. I don't know if you knew that in Chicago, I lived there 24 years. In Chicago, I had a company that was pre Facebook called Chicago View. It's a social network. And we did events of our own, 3,000 people events. But I made one mistake that you taught me afterwards, which is it was Eastern European specific to Russian concerts, Russian liquor, all that kind of stuff. So very similar parallels. But I think what you've done, for me at least, was very innovative. During the pandemic, one of the things that connected us is a cafe that you put together in the middle of a parking lot. Explain to me that. How did that even come to your mind?
So I'm a very resilient person. And when problem happened, when I was in fashion started to die, and you just stay open to opportunities. That's when the war happened. I started French Tuesdays. So then French Tuesday became so big, I stopped fashion. Then I lost everything at COVID because events were the last things that could reopen.
But you were still doing members on the roof, I remember, in downtown. That was incredible.
Little, we tried to.
Pool covered with the plastic. It was insane how beautiful it was. Live
So,
music, incredible. First time I met Dave, I think, at that event.
yeah, because we were still trying to do some events, it was more survival mode, not a money maker.
Correct.
So during COVID, I was the only live music event in the city because I found a way to do fully outdoor.
Not true. One more event, not outdoor, but Evan was putting together an incredible event.
Which one?
Evan. You remember Evan or no? Evan put together in downtown, closed garage door. This is where Dave performed as well.
But that was illegal.
100% illegal. Yes.
What I was doing was legal.
That's true.
Because a rule that I gave to myself when you became so big is to never do one bit of illegal. Because the company, when it's so big, you don't want to lose risk everything. But a lot of people did parties.
Correct.
Especially the Russian community,
yeah.
who were rebel about vaccines and things and
Correct.
all that. So they were going to parties and this. On my end, I never done anything. So the city allowed us because people were arriving in mass. Then, they were seated, they could remove when they eat.
Correct.
It was, so I did it my way. So in terms of resilience, that's when we, what were we talking?
The question was in regards to the cafe and the parking lot.
So
how did you come up with that?
Barely events happening, starting slowly, what's we are going to do. And I had a lot of friends who had restaurants and they were pretty much dying.
Correct.
So, and everyone was starting to put a few tables outside and everyone had some opportunities to do something. So one of my friends where I was doing events before COVID had a huge parking lot that was, they just put grass. So I said, let's use this and let's create, we could still not be inside.
Correct.
So the city allowed us to do a lot of things even if nobody was allowed to sit down when I took it, I said, my nose is telling me that there. So my plan was to open 20, 30, 50 of those cafes around the city. So we did one, we did super well.
Let me give people a visual of what I saw when I arrived. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. First of all, you would never tell there was a parking lot before. Rugs, humongous paintings, tables and chairs all over the place, things hanging on the ceilings or on the trees, actually. It was one of the most visually appealing things I've ever seen. And for me, pandemic and the highlight of the pandemic was actually this place,
Wow.
in addition to the croissants that were being served, which was also another story of something very special that you brought.
So yes, so I was not going to leave just fake grass on the floor. So one of my friends is, I have friends in all industries, and she sold to me rugs, carpets, couches. So we started to put that in. And at night, the problem we had homeless because
So you wanted to sleep in the best place.
sleeping,
And just
and
so
we
you
had
know,
a cool place.
this isn't like this kind of furniture. This was like high-end looking,
Yeah.
vintage type furniture, different colors.
So we started to do those kind of things, and because one of my friend was a baker in on Melrose, French guy, and I searched in all LA to find the best pâtisserie, viennoiserie we say, which is croissant, chocolat, and all this. And after searching for 1 month every place in the city, I found the best place,
What is her name? Remind me one more time.
La Chouquette. Nobody knows even the place because I was promoting my cafe.
Yes.
But we started during the pandemic with 6, 8 croissants per day he was delivering.
Yeah.
Which after 4, 5 months, he was delivering 100, 150
And you were
croissants.
still running out because I remember I brought people. I went there for just cafe.
Yeah.
Then I invited one friend. This one friend turned into another friend. 50 people showing up. You're running out of croissant. By the time I arrived, no more croissant.
We became the best croissant of LA, even if we didn't produce them.
Right.
But it was exciting because then we started to do savory with the croissant. We became on the top 4, cafe of West Hollywood after 5 months, and I never had done, cafe before in my life.
You know what I love about you is that anything that I have thought about or shared an idea about, you've supported. And actually, out of that cafe came the idea that saying, hey, I've got this group of people, they're all business oriented. Why don't we start a business club? And Club 500 is something from Moscow that I brought.
Oh,
And the same place, La Boheme, where we did
that's why you
cafe,
did the opening.
the grand opening actually that did at
I
this place.
remember.
And what's interesting is when I was there, I've never been to the restaurant before. I know almost all places here. But this place, I walked in to go to the bathroom. So this is this is
gem.
fine. It's a gem. Nobody knows about this place.
No.
And how do you find these unique locations? Because everything you do, every event that you do, from Culver City to everything that you're doing in West Hollywood and Hollywood, you always are on top of your game in terms of finding unique locations. I'll be honest with you, even the thing that didn't work out for you is currently doing your events on Santa Monica Boulevard. They copy. This was 1 year and a half. You and I talked about this.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
There's 2 things. One, that's something I talk in my little podcast.
Which I want everybody to sign up for. Instagram is where you post it. Yeah.
I post
I'll
on
put
my
your address on
Instagram.
the bottom for everybody to follow.
So it seems like I'm inspiring people because I'm only sharing what I'm doing in my life that seems to work, and inspiring people. And one of the things I said is create a good reputation of yourself. And then you don't need to work to find things and get things.
Correct.
If you are so known for being honest, good values, you pay people, you never screw people, and you never do any of that,
Correct.
then there is a point in your life where people reach out to you all the time.
And I remember once I did not pay the tip. You noticed and approached me and said, Eric, you should. And I took it, it's a nonchalant thing. It's something you don't notice, but you noticed it and you pointed it out to me.
I felt bad to tell you that.
No, you should.
By
never.
respect,
You and I are friends.
exactly.
And I felt very good that you told me this because it brought my attention to micro details. I have other people that joined my video before multimillionaire guy, and he said exactly that: attention to details and being able to treat people the way you want to be treated. That was a very important lesson to me. It's simple.
And I do that every single day. Is like people, when they come to my events, they say, "Oh, why don't you sit down?" I keep an eye all the time to everything.
Correct.
That's why I never drink during my events. And I, and one of the biggest success, which, it's not like a secret because people start to know. No, they don't even know because everyone is always wondering why my events are so successful compared to plenty of events. And it's on one of my podcasts, I talk about that too.
Okay.
And I say, it's not because I have the best live music,
Yes.
which is the case, but no, it's not because I have the most beautiful venues.
You do.
No, even if it is, but it's not because of that. It's not even because I have the most diverse crowd and quality crowd. So those are the three major things
Correct.
that makes those events successful. But the number one of the number one before that, including in all those parameters, is when someone come to an event and meet good people and leave with a full number of someone of good quality, one or two or three,
Correct.
that they met, they will remember that night.
That's what I meant when I said cultivating. I think you're a catalyst for cultivating those relationships, reestablishing connections, people you might have seen somewhere, and then reconnect again. And that's a beautiful thing to watch from the side. But also, you and I, after the pandemic, tried to do a cabaret event, which I thought was a great idea. You continue to turn it into something even bigger than I ever would have imagined. But what I'm noticing is that I may have something here, you are able to take it to the next level. Where is that coming from? Where are you seeing those visions? How do you put that combination together?
Again, that's where I was going, and I went to
Yeah,
something
I
else.
brought you back.
But again, reputation. That means today I get calls, if it's not every day, every 2 days, for people who say, "Gilles, what you do is great. Can we do that way? Can we?" So it's not even, I I have a great vision, but first I let people approach me.
Correct.
I always listen.
Yes.
I don't follow a lot of what people say,
I
but
noticed.
I listen to everything.
Yes.
And then I make my own dressing out of that. And then I go deep. But I listen to everything that's happening in the city.
Hmm.
These days, as we all noticing now, LA is dying right now.
You feel that?
No, I don't feel that. I know that.
Really?
No, it's a statement
So
which most people don't even realize, but remember, I'm in advance to everything that's happening.
I understand.
So I can tell you clearly right now,
Okay.
the past, since January, people were surviving up to the fire time.
Correct.
Since the COVID,
That's what broke it.
people were bringing it back, but surviving. Not doing well, but surviving. The fire started, we say in French, hécatombe.
Yeah.
It's like
What about the upcoming Olympics? You don't think that will revive?
it's
In
in
the
2 years,
building?
my friend.
It's too long.
One by one, places are closing and are going to continue to close for another year or two. Places are going to open, but they have to reinvent themselves. And that's what I'm bringing.
And that's what I was going to touch upon. How do you reinvent yourself? How do you come up with these ideas? And tell me what you're working on next.
First, I said that at the beginning, traveling
Yes.
and seeing what the world is doing is a very important part. So what works somewhere else that doesn't work here?
Hmm.
And LA is dead in every sense. Anybody today, there's many reasons. Number one,
With all due respect, I disagree. But let's agree to this.
and I could very easily prove to you, because It's very simple. You go to Yelp statistic,
Yeah,
there are 30 to 35% less reservation than last year.
I get it.
That's a sign of everything.
It's a fact.
They used to be like this, and that goes like this. So that means people reserve less.
Correct.
Number one. Number two, people are, even people with a lot of money, today you cannot go on a date with less than $100, $150 per person.
Correct.
Even if you're rich, and I know rich people
Correct.
make a lot of money. They used to go twice a week dinners. They go 2-3 times a month now.
Mm-hmm.
Why? So if it's a fact, and that's only two facts,
I get it.
now I have another fact. If you see every statistic in the planet, people drink less.
Really?
It's that I'm not,
I drink none, but
but when I say things, most of the time, it's never based, as you said, oh, that's what you think, Gilles. I never think.
it's analytical.
It's, yes,
I get
it's
it.
based on stat because my eyes, my ears are all around the world. I listen and I read what the world is talking in, at least in my field.
Correct.
And it's hospitality, it's nightlife, it's people, it's traveling,
So
all those things.
knowing what you know, what are you doing?
I don't know if I want to share
You do.
where the world is going. Um, yeah, because not a lot of people will be able to do it anyway. So the fact that nightclubs are dying, there are almost no more nightclubs in the city. Festivals are doing well. But the only way they can do well is because they charge tickets,
Mm-hmm.
because people drink less.
Correct.
So nightclubs cannot survive. So bottle service, all that world is dead.
Mhm.
And they are going to be dead for, I don't know how many years. I'm telling you that.
Wow.
As a fact.
Wow.
Not as my thinking. So nightclubs are not going to go up. Everyone is going to change their recipe. Restaurants are having a hard time because of what we just talked. Even, the tariff from Trump and the food because of the war in Eastern Europe. Everything increased. So, so food, the minimum wage in California became ridiculous. It's one more element. We are the highest in the United States right now. Just remember that.
So what are you doing?
So because restaurants are dying,
Yep.
because nightclubs are dying, there is in between.
What is it?
And this is what's happening very well in Miami, in Vegas, in New York, in Paris, which is dinner entertainment.
Nice.
Which is what I was always doing, but as here and there, without being a strategy.
Correct. But Gilles Cabaret,
It was this.
originally you and I talked, and I said $200 is what I felt the dinner should be worth. And you said, no, that's too much. But that was the original concept, yeah?
The concept was to do a minimum spending.
Yes.
And this is what I'm doing already 3 times a week.
Correct.
But that's my plan is to do 10, 15 a week like this. That's why we're opening Orange County.
I love that.
Because Orange County has money power, the good age group.
A lot of people moved from LA to
A lot of people move there for good quality of life. And there is nothing happening. And then I will do the valley with, Calabasas and all this area,
Yeah.
which is exactly the same because they have to drive 45 minutes to come to my events and all those people.
Even in this situation, Gilles, you're very forward thinking because you're saying, don't come to me, I'll come to you.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I'm still doing LA to keep, because
Presence.
people always copy
Correct.
the big cities. So when we used to do French Tuesday around the world, oh, we are number 1 in New York. Then you can open any city. Oh, I'm number 1 in LA. So when I went to visit venues and say, just look at what I do, it's a window, it's a platform.
Correct.
It's like fashion industry. People sometimes never sell anything. They have a store just as a window, but they make the most money selling online.
One of the things that I enjoyed about our friendship is that I can be in Miami for 3 months, come back, text you, and it's like the time is not even passed.
That's what
And
friendship is
and I
about.
see that friendship not only with me, but with every single person that you've met. Where did this skill come from? Is this a family thing? Because I met your parents.
My parents are amazing people
They are
with good values. Again, good education, good background, good values. And again, my personality in the family, we have tons of cousins, tons of uncles, this, that. But my parents, my brothers, sister, and I, we are a little bit the center of
the
everyone,
core.
the core to, when there is family reunion, it's at my parents. When there is something happening, it's at my parents.
So that's where all of this is coming from.
So I guess I'm born with um, social, natural, even if I was shy when I was like in my teens.
Yeah.
But when I came to America on vacation
Hmm.
at 21 years old,
Wow.
and I never left, I never went back, by the way.
Wow.
I mean,
You visited.
after
Yeah.
to visit, but
Yeah.
I never returned to live. And I had no paper, no English, no background, no family, no.
Perfect success story.
And I worked as a busser and then as a server, and I got fired because I was too cool. Say, busser cannot look so good.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah.
Servers, oh, you're dressed up like the owner. Out. So it was fun. But that's when I started. I met a girl, she was in fashion, and that's how I started fashion. She will have been a prostitute, I will have been a pimp because my goal was to do business.
Correct.
Because that's what I was in the business school in France, even if I didn't finish school because I stayed at 21. I was still 1 or 2 more years left. So
What are you excited about
today
in life?
in life, I arrived to a point in my life that everything I do, I go to bed happy and I want to wake up happy.
Hmm.
And and I know I'm very privileged to say that.
Correct.
Um, and it's not because I don't have disaster and I don't have mess and I don't have difficulties,
I saw that you're putting out fires even before this recording. So I see the hard work that you put in, but you're always baseline.
because don't bother people with your own problem. It's good to have good friends and talk about it, but talk 2 minutes and move on. I believe in something. Anything positive you spread, energies come back.
Correct.
You have positive attitude, things come back. You cry, people will cry with you. You share joy, joy will come to you. So again, I'm lucky to have this personality. Not everyone has it,
Correct.
but at least with my little podcast, I'm sharing some wisdom,
I love.
some moment of wisdom. How do I think? There are some books that I shared, like the Four Agreements
Correct.
or the Virtue of Selfishness, are certain books that have been dictating my life.
I love the fact that you're sharing so much information. I'm gonna put into the video maybe just a little clip, just so people get a taste. I am not a very popular YouTube channel today, but I'm hoping to grow over time, and I hope to bring some value back to you, Joe. It's my pleasure, and I appreciate you taking the time and supporting me even here. You supported with the restaurant, you supported with the cabaret. Every single time I had nothing but support from you. I welcome you as a friend.
Very happy to share and to keep our relationship growing because we are very young, both of us,
Yes,
and we are just at the beginning of our lives.
I love that.